Welcome back to the Best Damn Nerd Show. James Kincaid alongside Professor Chris Davis. And I teased before the break that we know why now that Shang-Chi officially will, in fact, stink. I was not overly optimistic for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings to begin with. He's he's a jabroni character. He's a jobber. Nothing against him personally. It's just this is sort of the height of Marvel hubris that they're throwing these characters, as sort of their next wave that we're supposed to have the same level of investment in as, like, say, a Captain America or an Iron Man and stuff like that. And I get it, because I think their whole game changed with Guardians of the Galaxy, because they too were a group of jabrones that nobody really cared about, other than the super, super diehard comic book fan. And they happened to just hit an absolute grand slam with the style and portrayal in their film. And I think that led to Marvel to be like, we could do anything. I mean, they'll watch anything and they'll love it. They have to. And it worked for a while. But now, as I often say, and it's true, the MCU's best days are far behind it. And they are in Shang-Chi and hearkening back to the first misstep of the MCU, as far as I can tell. And this is now, there was no doubt. I think the trailer visually looked good, but there were some concerning things. The fact that they are shoehorning the Mandarin into this movie as Shang-Chi's father, and that we're supposed to just be celebrating that. Oh, see, now we're getting the Mandarin. And one of the few missteps that you can really point to in the early MCU or the mid, sort of peak MCU time period is how they did the Mandarin. The Mandarin is Tony Stark, Iron Man's arch nemesis.
He's gone though, so we're not going to do him, right?
That's the Mandarin. That's how people want him to be portrayed, is Iron Man's arch nemesis. We didn't get that. We never got that. End of story. Sad misstep, but let's just move on.
We didn't get that?
No, we never got that.
I feel like there was a movie in there that had a Mandarin.
Iron Man 3, yes, is what I'm talking about, is the sort of, which, by the way, I started my rewatch of the MCU with Iron Man 1 this past week as well.
I was wondering where you were.
Damn near perfect movie, an apex predator of blockbusters, and one of the most important movies of the 21st century, which brings us to today. But Iron Man 3 is when the MCU really started losing their way, visibly, with how they did the Mandarin, with Sir Ben Kingsley playing actor Trevor Slattery, who was just impersonating him, and it was so freaking terrible. Which is why Iron Man 3, amongst the many other failings of that movie, ranks right at the bottom of my list of MCU movies. But so we never got the real Mandarin in Iron Man. We got that one shot where supposedly the real Mandarin was coming after Trevor Slattery when he was in prison. It's like, oh, you got to watch it. It's like, I'm not going to watch a DVD special feature and have you tell me that somehow that makes up for what they did in the movie. Just not going to do it. So why am I ranting and raving carrying on about this? One, because they are now putting the Mandarin in Shang-Chi, a character that is not a big time player in Marvel until now, just hasn't been. And we're supposed to act like that this is a make good for the fact that he's Iron Man's arch nemesis. Now he's in the Shang-Chi movie. Completely reject that. But also confirmation, Sir Ben Kingsley is going to be appearing in Shang-Chi, reprising his role. Davis, yes. You're pumping your fist. Why?
I want to see what they do with this. I want to see how they explain this and why we should effing care. Because it's a bold move. It's like, why you really screwed that one up, and you know it, and you're just gonna dip back in that well a little bit. So it's interesting to me. And I think it's kind of the only reason I want to see this movie now.
Some people like to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
So you put in a character that you did dirty before, and I'm talking about the actual Mandarin in this movie, to try and make up for it. And you're changing his backstory and doing all these things that are, I am certainly not on board with. But if you're going to do that, okay, I don't like it, but that's a decision. But then you're going to hang a light and call back to what led us here to begin with. It just seems like it's out of the book of bad ideas. And I know in that little one-shot deal they did is that the Mandarin wanted to bring sort of him forth and punish him for, his impersonation. So they'll probably kill off Ben Kingsley's character in this, I would imagine, probably with malice aforethought, and, however brutal that, maybe they'll punctuate it with a one-liner as he's taking his last breath. So I bet you he'll tell one last joke.
That's
Awful.
a guarantee.
Awful.
There's no Vegas line on that because it's too high. That's not a bettable thing. So.
But this all but guarantees that I will not like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I mean, it's
man, bring back old Trevor. Let's see how he goes out. But yeah, I'm on the same boat as you with introducing the real Mandarin now. Without Iron Man is very disappointing, and him being, and maybe they do bring back Iron Man because of this whole universe thing.
So introduce him in that.
Exactly. And Shang-Chi, get your own villain.
And I understand that originally the character would be Fu Manchu, but there's like problematic origins and stuff like that. And I understand the desire to change that around, but you don't have to take a different iconic character and just throw him into Shang-Chi. Just change what you have to change about the original character that you wanted.
Yeah, the problem also with this,
like they did in Black Panther, by the way, with M'Baku, who was a great character in that movie. I think most people would agree with that.
I do agree with that. I think the other big problem with the Mandarin in this movie is this is going to be an origin Shang-Chi movie, which is focused on the hero mainly, and the Mandarin won't get much time probably to shine. And that is another issue for me, is that if you're going to do a Mandarin, then get the origin story out of the way and focus on a Joker level-esque character that has.
I feel like because of the father-son aspect that they're going for with this, like it's not the Mandarin that we get in the comics or that great Marvel Action Hour or Iron Man cartoon show. It's not going to be that, but I do think we're going to get a heavy dose of him with the father-son dynamic. And so I think that those fears of yours might be assuaged. The quality of the stories they're going to tell with this Mandarin, I have my doubts though.
Yeah, but the reason I love the Mandarin is the complete opposite, kind of opposite but not values of the Mandarin and Iron Man, what they're fighting for. And
you like the aliens,
what they
too,
represent. Yeah, and I love aliens. And I don't know. This just seems like a family thing, like a family story. I've seen that. I want to see, technology go against the old ways, and it's just not really a story I care about.
Yeah. Well, Shang-Chi's not a character that a lot of people care about. A lot of people are going to pretend that they do, just like a lot of people pretended to be huge Guardians of the Galaxy's fans when it was in vogue.
Huge.
I'm a fan of the movies. I've never read a single Guardians of the Galaxy comic book. Probably never will. And I'm okay with that. So, God bless Marvel in all of their pride that they're just going to be like, you know what? Shang-Chi, book it. Squirrel Girl, bring it on. Whatever. Spider Pig, let's do it. In all of their hubris. I hope it falls down around their ears. What's that, Davis?
Spider Pig's already been out.
Yeah. Well, live action. I'm sure we'll probably get that at some point. And now in Black Panther 2, we're going to be getting Riri Williams, Ironheart. Okay. Knock off Iron Man. No thanks.
It's surprising that we're already getting to the point of having to bring in characters that have, because Thor's going to do it too, with bringing in
Jane.
a new Jane as Thor, and it's just like we want to celebrate the awesome female superheroes, and these ones were the ones that were just kind of thrown into current roles.
Yeah, well, I think that was always where, and some people gave us pushback, and I think there was some misunderstanding. Is that our belief is that push female superheroes that you already have that you believe in, or I guess maybe you don't, Marvel, or create new ones that are their own thing as opposed to ripoffs of other older successful characters like Iron Man or like Thor, because at the end of the day, Marvel doesn't really believe. And that's, so you're going established property. So really it's just them trying to pat themselves on the back. But my thing is, in even bringing that up, is not really related to that. It's just like, man, I think they have this idea that all their character, that we just want to see every character on the screen. It's like, they're not all winners. Sentry was not a winner. But I will laugh my ass off when he gets a trailer for a movie. Like, they tried to push him so hard. And I think that his utter and abysmal failure as a character is why we do see a lot of sort of the just mantle swapping as opposed to new characters. I don't think that and that goes, beyond race, gender, and anything else you want to designate it as. I think that there is a prevailing thought, at least depending on who's in charge at the time, that they've lost the art. They've lost the touch to create compelling new characters. So they're just going to go, this is safer.
Yeah, that's what it is right there. It's safe, and they don't have to put.
We know this lunchbox sells.
Yeah, they don't have to put that much money behind marketing a whole new character, and so that's it's just safe for them, and it's a disservice.